I'm going to show you how to find buyers in FreedomSoft. I'm going to come right over here to the Tools tab and I'm going to click on Lead Finder. If I'm specifically doing a buyer search, I can simply click that over to buyers. And I can go to the next step. I can set my geography. And then you can see right up here, I go to the search and I can pull that buyer list. I'm going to do a slightly different method, but I wanted to show you this quick out of the gate. What I'm going to do is I can also build a buyers list in targeted zip codes by starting in Zip Finder. I'm going to come over here, instead of Florida, I'm going to change this to the state of Tennessee, Memphis MSA. I'm going to set my time frame instead of 90 days to the last 180 days. And I'm going to click search, and Zip Finder is going to go to work and it's going to start to identify all the top zip codes inside the Memphis, Tennessee MSA. See, that's already done. And so now I have all of the zip codes in the Memphis MSA ranked from most investor activities, and by investor activities I mean absentee owner, down to fewest. You can see that there are multiple at the bottom with 0 transactions. So the other way I can find buyers is I can say, okay, Zip Finder, what are the top investor zip codes inside this geography? And you can do this anywhere in the country. I chose Memphis, Tennessee. What I can then do is I can come over here and I'm going to grab the top 10 zip codes, 3, 4, and I'm going to come right up here and click Find Buyers. Now, a new tab just got opened in FreedomSoft, and now I'm in Lead Finder, and it brings me to the search screen. Now, if I go back one step to geography, there are my top 10 zip codes. If I go back another step to target, I'm on houses and buyers. So because I came through the Zip Finder tool, it automatically brings me to the search page. Now we have two options here, active or cash. Active will pull buyers who have been active in the last 6 months. Cash buyer, this option is specifically looking for cash transactions, but it will go back in time more than 6 months. I typically tell people to click the active buyer because this will pull up the list of buyers who have been actively buying in these top 10 zip codes or in whatever geography you set over the last 6 months. You can go into Show Advanced as well. So if you want to narrow this search down, by property type, by property filters, and put in, I'm only looking for buyers who have bought properties between 1,000 square feet and 2,500 square feet. You can do that. All right, I'm going to leave all of these empty because what I like to do is build a bigger buyers list, and then once I have the buyers list built in this video, I'm going to show you how to run a sort to identify the top buyers once we have that list built. I'm going to click active and I'm going to click search. And so now this is going to go to work and it's going to pull our buyers list for the top 10 zip codes in the Memphis MSA. You can see that we have 1,582. Now, if I wanted to, I could click return to search, narrow that search down. I'm going to leave it. I'm going to come over here and select all pages. So I have all 1,582 selected, and I'm going to click add to lead list. And I'm going to build a new list. Now, let me mention something. When I move these buyer records over into a list, and it's going to move them over here to a list in FreedomSoft, FreedomSoft is done moving these records, there is going to be a number smaller than 1,582. FreedomSoft is going to take all of the buyers who have purchased multiple properties and it's going to sandwich them together into the same record. I have all records selected, big blue button, add to leads list. Now I've got to name it. So I'm going to create a new list, and to get it named appropriately, and I'm going to click create. You can see if I go back here, remember I selected 1,582 records, buyer records. I bring it over and there's only 1,005. Again, FreedomSoft is not broken, it's doing this by design. It's sandwiching all of those multi-property buyers. We can come in here and say, okay, I just built a buyers list of 1,005 buyers in the top 10 zip codes in the Memphis, Tennessee MSA, meaning the top 10 buyers from over the last 6 months. Now what I can do is run a customized search to find the top buyers. Some of these people in here or companies have just bought one property. Some have bought multiple. So let's see if we can go in and identify the top or the most active buyers. Click View All. And when I'm on this View All page, I'm going to click and open up the advanced search. Now I'm going to come down here where it says Add Filter, and I'm going to pick a custom filter. I'm going to scroll all the way down. It's called Purchase Properties. That's the one that I'm going to select. Now I have a couple options here. So let me show you how we can set these. Instead of equals, I'm going to go greater than or equals at 2. And then I'm going to set a time frame. So instead of on, I'm going to go on or after. I come over here and click on this calendar, and I'm going to go back in time 6 months. So I'm going to click the left arrow 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, and I just usually grab the first of whatever that month is. In this case, February 2024, and I click search. So now we're down to 268. What does that represent? Well, we brought over 1,005 buyers. 268 of them have purchased 2 or more properties over the last 6 months. We're starting to narrow down the list to identify the top buyers, and you're going to see that here's Benjamin Brogan, individual. There's a trust, LLC, still quite a few individual names in here. So what happens if we do 5 or more? And I click search. Now we're down to 87. You can go into any market in the country. Number one, if I go back over here to Zip Finder, I can identify where are zip codes of investor activity. In this case, I did last 6 months. And then from there, I grabbed the top 10 and built our list of buyers. And then from there, once the list was built, I can run this very quick sort to start to identify some of the top and some of the most active buyers in the area. Now, how many bought 10 or more? Click search. Now we're down to 45. How many bought 20 or more? Click search. Now we're down to 25. So what you can then do if you want to reach out to these buyers, now if they're individuals or you have an individual name in FreedomSoft, you can skip trace them because it's an individual. In FreedomSoft, when it's an LLC or a corporation, what we recommend is that you do a manual skip trace. You could run that yourself. You could hire somebody to do that for you. But that's where you would go online and look up the different names of these LLCs. And what I can do now is I can click into one of these and I can see that it's EF3BR3 LLC, mailing address, they're out of Keller, Texas. And then look at this feature over here. On a buyer record in FreedomSoft, we have this option over on the left-hand side called owned properties. I can click on that and it'll pull up a map of the other properties owned, in this case by this LLC. And so you can see what markets are they buying in. They're buying in Oklahoma, they're buying in a couple markets in Texas. Clearly they're buying Memphis. Buying over here, it's the Greensboro area. I just had to zoom in on it. Zoom out a little bit and you can see they're buying down here in South Carolina. So again, some information. This is what I was talking about when I said that FreedomSoft is going to sandwich these records together. That's how the 1,582 turned into 1,005 records inside of this list. Very, very powerful tool in FreedomSoft to identify buyers, and not just identify the buyers, but then go run a custom sort or a search to identify the top buyers inside of that geography.